Hey everybody, I'm Tim, and today it's time to eat some crow. You're watching Cigars Daily. Hey, get a lot more out of this video when you watch it on the community on Rumble and on Cigars Daily Plus. I say that at the outset of a lot of my videos. With this one in particular, I'm telling you that because there really is a lot more value in this video. What I've got here is something I'm going to show you. This is a singular criticism of me and what I do. This much of it is what I can read to you here on YouTube. It just references a lot of other things I can really only talk about on Rumble and Plus. And so I'm telling you, if you go to Cigars Daily Plus or go to Rumble, you'll get the unadulterated version of this mega slam that is now aged like a fine wine. Well, this year marks a full decade in the cigar industry for me, for something that initially was a part-time job as a clerk at a brick and mortar shop just to make ends meet has turned into my life's work. It's been really a hell of a ride, and all the way through this, I have seen a lot. I've learned even more. I've forgotten quite a bit too, which quite frankly, I don't even know what that is because I forgot about it. But I'm also no stranger to criticisms. Throughout the last 8 years with Cigars Daily, I have heard just about everything. People have accused me of a lot. For one thing, they say I yell in my videos. And to which I've always replied, yeah, and I'm probably not ever going to stop doing that because I get excited when I make content or really when I present anything. I could be reading to you the ingredients off a jar of pickles and I'd probably have the same attitude about it. But over the years, I've seen more or less some more thorough criticisms of my work in the cigar world, and today I wanted to share a specific one with you. You see, Cigars Daily is an endeavor that I started almost 8 years ago with my business partner, Jim. It must have been 8 years ago now because this comment from Reddit is 8 years old. And as I did this, I brought everyone inside of how we did it. The first thing I did was start a YouTube channel and then took you guys through what Cigars Daily was going to become. It was an entire series of videos that I eventually had to delete off YouTube and are still available on Cigars Daily Plus. But as I was literally putting together Cigars Daily as an entity, I was engaging online by making content and answering questions and comments, and I ran into this very long sort of criticism of my work on Reddit. And this is something that I have thought about again and again over the last 8 years. This has been a recurring theme. I kind of come back to this page-long criticism of me and kind of remember, because when I read this, I was like, is this guy right about me? Or is he going to miss the mark? Ultimately, it's the kind of thing that you might even lose sleep about once in a while. And so now, after 10 years in the industry, and about 8 of that here at Cigars Daily, I wanted to take you guys inside this criticism to not only tell you where this guy called it right, but where he maybe missed the mark and what I've learned along the way. But right now I want to take you inside of this. And I'm sure that people will drop stuff in the comments. If there's another critic out there, hell, I might even respond to your criticism in a video, or drop down below what you think in response to these things. I intend to share with you what was said here and what I learned from it. Now, I would kick this off by telling you who posted this, but the user has been deleted on Reddit, as you can see. But what I'm going to do is show you chunk for chunk what was written here. I'm not going to edit a word of it. I'll read it exactly as it was written and then sort of respond to it along the way, because there's some stuff I can own and there's some stuff that I can clarify and there's some stuff where I just learned something really important that I'll take you guys through. So let's start with the beginning. Is really fantastic. Tim is in way over his head. In one of his first solo videos, he pointed to a box of disgusting mold-covered quesada and said, "That's Plume." I remember doing this, by the way. I don't remember at what point I took the video down, but over time in cigars, my view of things and my understanding of things has changed a profound amount. I've learned a whole lot. The Plume thing is one of them. And I'm not only going to admit to having done this, I'm going to tell you that there was a time for me when I valued Plume as like a sign of a great cigar. And I think many people still do today. And this is just one of the opinions I've had on cigars and cigars collection and how cigars should be stored and what's the right humidity. All this kind of stuff has changed a lot as I've spent time working in the industry, learning from people in the Cigars Daily Nation, and working shoulder to shoulder with some of the best cigar makers in the world. So he's got me there. I called it out, and I believe I was wrong about that. And that, by the way, primarily is because at this point, nobody can provide, or at least up to this point, no one has provided any compelling evidence that this stuff called Plume actually exists. I acknowledge that. This guy goes on to say, I want to know that someone opening their store knows what the mold is. I'd say that's a fair thing. Now, also, there are people who purport that this stuff, Plume, exists. And the idea is that like the crystals from the leaf sort of like rise to the wrapper leaf and they crystallize on the outside of the wrapper leaf. That's where my contention lies. I don't see any natural process that says that should happen. I was literally arguing with a like top tier worker of a like top 5 cigar maker about this just the other day. You got me there, deleted Reddit user. Let's continue. He says, then he announced his business partner. And I was like, maybe he's at least got someone who knows something and isn't a cheerleader like him. Thank you for calling me a cheerleader. I liked him. He's an entertaining guy. He's no cigar expert by far, and that's okay. His business partner? His father-in-law. Sigh. And this is where I really started to take issue initially with like this whole thing. And this has gone through my head a lot. So a couple things to dissect. The first one is announcing my business partner. It is true that you don't want to partner with somebody who's a yes man who will just tell you what you want to hear. In the case of Cigars Daily, my business partner, Jim, like Cigars Daily was his idea initially. He pitched to me the idea of him and I doing cigars together in this format. He asked me in his exact words, he said, Tim, do you think you could do all that internet cigar shit over again if you had to? Now, he doesn't really have a southern accent like that, but that's kind of like my portrayal of him. And I said, yeah, I think so. That was literally the beginning of Cigars Daily. And I, to this day, consider Jim and partnering with Jim to be one of the best life decisions I've made, like ever. Outside of like marrying his daughter. Truthfully, they say that there's only a handful of decisions you're going to make in your lifetime that will authentically alter the course of the rest of your life. Decisions like who you get married to, taking a really major job, having kids, like big things like that. Most of the decisions you make in a day they're going to more or less change your life a little, but your life will continue going in the same path. I have to say, partnering with Jim is one of the profound life-altering decisions that I've made only because I have learned more from Jim than just about any other singular person I can think of. Excluding my parents, who taught me to talk and walk and how to go to school and how to be grounded and stuff like that. Jim has taught me more than any other person that I've ever known about business and life and mistakes that he's made and the things that he's learned from them. So even to this point, I consider much of the success that I've had to be from his steady hand and wisdom that is, as I put it, kept me from driving this thing off the tracks and into a ditch more than a couple of times. The user goes on to say, I wish him well in his endeavor, but he's got some yellow flags. Now, I'm going to continue reading this because he's going to start going in really hard on my cigars and my cigar making process. That's why I'm sitting here next to me is a Liga Zebra, one of the old school blends and brands from the very early days of Cigars Daily. I want to take you guys into that, but I can only do that on Rumble and Cigars Daily Plus. I invite you to join me over there, and it's just because the rest of this comment that he reads includes stuff that I'm not allowed to talk about on this platform. So do check this video out there. I will keep bringing you the raw, unedited version of this guy's, slam. He wished me well. At least he wished me well. That was so nice of him. Check this out on Plus and Rumble. Drop your comments down below. And thank you so much for joining me here. This is Tim signing off for Cigars Daily. And I'll see you in the comments.